Okay, now let's look at the identification and evidence paragraphs. First of all, the identification paragraph is quite good. Now, one thing that's very important is what is the supporting idea that you're starting with. Originals are late to the party. Okay, you could say it in your own words here, because really that's just a metaphor that the speaker is using, a kind of an idiomatic metaphor. What that means is they're not always the first movers in a market. They don't always necessarily create a new product or service. Often they just wait to see what the competition is going to do, and then they improve on an already existing product or service. Right? That's what it means to say that they're late to the party. You've written a good paragraph, you've identified the supporting idea, you've identified the evidence, no problem. I would just say use your own words here. Okay, now, if we start with that idea, then we're going to assess their sufficiency, relevance, and representativeness. But look at what you're saying here. The evidence provided by the speaker is insufficient to consider procrastinators less creative. That's not the idea. We're not saying that they're less creative. We're saying that they're late to the party. And what that means is, you see, you don't seem to be very clear on what that means here. So you are examining sufficiency related to the wrong idea. Nobody is saying that they are less creative. Actually, he's saying in the video, the speaker is saying that they are more creative. They're late to the party, but that doesn't mean they're not creative. They're actually more creative than other people, right? So you have to be very clear on what idea you're starting with. The story of his life. I do like your comments though. You really are on the right track in terms of what relevance is, what sufficiency, what representativeness is. You've understood those terms, which is very good. And your comments show that your commentary, your explanations, why they're not sufficient, why they're not this and that, they're very good, but they don't relate to the right idea. So you have to make sure that they match. Okay? So when you say, this survey is conducted does not prove that procrastinators around the world and then are less creative. But nobody is saying they're less creative. He's actually saying they're more creative. So you've misunderstood the meaning of they're late to the party. Okay. But I do like that though very much here. That's exactly the kind of language you should be using. It does not prove that blah blah blah, right? Just fix this one. The volume of the survey is not enough. That's a very good comment in order to determine that it is necessary to reveal more. Very good. See, all of these things, when you analyze and explain why it's not sufficient, relevant, and representative, you're doing very well. Just make sure that you understand the idea. Okay? In addition, the evidence is to some extent relevant. For example, some hasty actions, and here again you've got it the wrong way around, right? Because you misunderstood the idea. So you need to fix those things. But I do like that comment. The survey was conducted only in one city. For the relevance of it is necessary to cover at least. That's very nice. You see? Very, very good. It's not representative as there is no evidence from the study. It is just the speaker's story. Speaker could not prove here when a little slow and not rush to the quick completion of their ideas. Yeah. Here, by the way, representativeness, when you talk about representativeness, you've discussed sufficiency and relevance quite well. For representativeness, we're asking the question, are the examples given by the speaker, are they typical examples? So, you're asking, is this story and is this article about the Nintendo, are these typical examples of original thinkers who create products after they have observed what the competition has done on the market? Well, they're actually you can say that's not necessarily representative, because there are a lot of original thinkers who are first to the market, who are not late to the party, who are actually very early to the party. In fact, a lot of great original thinkers, they make the party. They initiate it. They are initiators. They're first movers. They're not necessarily late. And so you will say, in representativeness, we're usually talking about how typical is that example. You can say that's not necessarily a typical example of the creative process of original thinkers and so forth. Okay? But, so what, for instance, here, this could also be very good for a representativeness. The survey conducted is only in one city. To make such a generalized claim about creative original thinkers, the speaker should cite evidence that comes from more than just one city. It covers a much larger portion of American society of original thinkers and so forth. So this comment is good for representativeness as well. Okay. So I can see a lot of good things here. Okay, very good. You really are on the right track, but really make sure you understand and make sure the supporting idea matches with your commentary, because you're going to get everything the wrong way around if you misunderstand the supporting idea like I've done here. Okay, but you've got the most important part of it. You've got that down correctly. You know what representativeness is. You know the three aspects we're examining the evidence from, so you're fine. Overall, good work. I'm seeing progress over the course of the 2 semesters. Definitely, I saw a lot of progress here, and I want to encourage you to keep up the good work, and the best of luck on your exam bucket. You've been a good student, so good luck.